Hello, everybody. I'm Ernie Johnson, welcoming you to the NBA on 2K Sports. Excited, thrilled to be here with Kenny the Jet Smith and Shaquille O'Neal. I'm so lucky. Tonight, we'll see the Golden State Warriors.
Oh, say does that spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of Bethlehem.
Welcome to the NBA on 2K Sports. Kevin Harlan here along with Clark Kellogg and Greg Anthony. It's all about the Western Conference. That's where the action is today as the Golden State Warriors get ready to battle.
Get a nice clean game, huh?
And the Spurs start out with the ball. And the starting group for the Spurs. The defensive-minded Green and Leonard are the wings. Aldridge out there with Duncan. And it's Parker in at the 1 spot. And guys, as a second-round pick, Danny Green was once an afterthought out of North Carolina. Now, he's one of the most dangerous three-point shooters in the league.
You're right, Kevin. Throughout last season, and 42% from beyond the arc for his career. And great consistency, too. He's been over 41 every season for the past 4.
And it's Green missing. Golden State on D. Parker kicks to Leonard. Five on the clock. And misses it off the right side of the rim.
Talking about Danny Green, he owns one of the better field goal percentages for a volume three-point shooter in the league. And he's a marksman at the charity stripe, too. A valuable role player for any offense.
Now here's Curry. Misses the 3. First quarter, just over a minute played. Here's Parker, and it's sent back by Bogut. They retain possession. Here's Aldridge. Good defense by Iguodala.
That's terrific defense right there to prevent from converting in close.
Foul call that time on the way up. That'll give him 2 chances at the free throw line here.
And when you think about Danny Green, he doesn't just hit from downtown. He does it when it counts. Go back to that NBA Finals back in 13, and he made a total of 27 threes, smashing that previous record of 22, and that's coming up big in the biggest moments. And remember Klay Thompson's father, Michael Thompson, a former #1 pick out of Minnesota. Growing up, he was the smallest of his brothers and thereby took his lumps when they played hoops. But he said that challenge helped him to develop into the player he is today.
And the Warriors miss again.
And just because you can make it from outside doesn't mean you need to live there.
Not that far out anyway, Greg. I mean, he can work for a better shot than that.
Now here's Parker. Lets it fly from 18. Another miss by Parker. And Klay Thompson, born into an athletic family. His father, the former #1 overall pick in the NBA draft. And Clark, his mom, was a Division I volleyball player.
And, you know, Thompson, despite those genes, was not a highly recruited player out of high school. Grew up in UCLA's backyard, but ended up playing college ball at Washington State. How in the world did they let him get that wide open?
Parker against Curry. Parker passes to Aldridge. He dishes it to Leonard. Takes a big high bounce and goes in.
You can't afford to give him that kind of a look.
Well, you know, he came off a good screen, but still, as a defender, you've got to do a better job of fighting over and through that.
Now here's Curry. Green left side. Good, and Curry gets the assist. Green's got his first 2 points.
That is some real serious dime dropping there. Exquisite assist.
Duncan with a screen on Curry. Parker. And he gets the shot to fall after coming off the pick.
Nice work by Duncan to lay into that defender.
Parker against Curry. And first quarter, we're about 3.5 minutes in. And Green gets it to go. We all know about the Splash Brothers, but it seems everyone on Golden State now can hit a three. They set a franchise record in made threes last year at 883 triples.
Incredible.
Wow.
I mean, they can stretch you out as well as anyone, and it's why they are so good going small. I mean, they did lead the league in three-point percentage last year, making almost 40% of those threes.
And Doris Burke caught up with Coach Greg Popovich. Doris?
He talked about the impact of opposing big man Andrew Bogut, saying, there just aren't that many 7-footers with his kind of game. A great interior defender first and foremost. We can't get tunnel vision when we attack the rim. He's got size and strength, and we can't allow him to bully us for offensive rebounds. Let's see if they can keep Bogut from having a big game, guys.
And thank you for that, Doris.
The right thing there to stay that tight on him and really try to keep him out of his comfort zone.
Outside Curry. A three ball. Another three for Golden State.
He's got so much junk in his trunk. He'll find a way to hurt you.
And San Antonio calls the first.
They can't guard us on the perimeter. Spread the floor, isolate up top. Spacing, fellas. Spacing.
Best shot blockers, averaging well over 2.5 a game in his career. And Greg, he protects the rim like few others can. A rugged player.
And in last season, almost 3 block shots per game. And with all the offensive firepower around him, I think it really allows him to play to his strengths. That's why having a great team is about pieces of the puzzle fitting. He's a terrific piece for this group.
And San Antonio calls the first timeout of the game.
And getting back to Bogut, people forget he's a pretty good athlete. The reason he was drafted #1 overall way back when was because of his insane combination of size and movement skills. That's why he remains one of the excellent shot blockers in the league today.
Different look here for the Warriors. Spates checked in for Bogut. Harrison Barnes comes in for Andre Iguodala. Leandro Barbosa, he's checked in for Thompson. And it's Livingston in for Curry. Now here's Mills. Pass to Martin. Fires from the wing. But he stays with it. Down low. And it's Spates with the rebound.
I'm a fan of anybody who defends that way. I mean, they weren't about to open the door and just allow him to cruise in for a layup. And when you talk about Bogut, I think the Warriors' incredible regular season inspired him. He didn't have to be the star. He just had to anchor that D. Sometimes when you give a guy a specific task to be the best at, that's when he delivers the most.
Here is Livingston after David West's bucket. That's a 2 from Barnes. That drops, and it comes off the assist from Livingston.
All right, let's go.
For San Antonio, they've gone 6 of 13 from the field, just under the 50% mark. It's 9 seconds separating the shot clock and game clock. Diaw with a wide open look. They get it back. score the basket. Nice shot after missing his first attempt.
Well, I tell you what, it's easy to get spoiled watching this fella. I mean, he just makes it look so simple.
Here is Livingston. It could go, and the release was before the buzzer, but it's off target. It's a tie game here in Oakland, and we'll get things started in the second quarter when we return. And Steph Curry, a player within the gym range. He told us about his comfort stretching the floor.
Anywhere 5-6 feet outside that three-point line, if I have a dribble, if I catch and shoot, if I have a good look, I think Coach will allow me to take that shot. And it's tough to guard, especially when you see a couple go in. That basket gets a lot bigger.
I was going to say, Greg, how big must that hoop look to Steph Curry? And tough to guard might be the understatement of the day.
I mean, he is just an insanely great shooter. I mean, arguably, I don't think there's an argument. He's the best shooter in the world. The argument is whether or not he's the best shooter ever. And listen, I can imagine there's very few times that Coach Curry is not going to allow this Splash brother to let her rip.
And so far, it's been a closely contested game as we get the second quarter up and going. And from what we've seen so far from the Warriors, how would you grade them?
I tell you what, the scoring has come in threes for the most part here so far.
Every time down the floor, it seems they're knocking down the triple.
And now, brought to you by Gatorade, all fueled up and ready to go. Let's reset our lineups. And Golden State looking at who they've got. It's the Splash Brothers, Curry and Thompson at the guard spots. Harrison Barnes is out there with Rush. And it's Ezeli in at the center, filling out the middle.
And the Spurs being the defending champions out west heading into last year. But they would end up 6th in the conference with a record of 55-27. Had a record of 32-20 against the rest of the West.
Here's Curry with the three. Curry with another miss.
Just not much success when it comes to shooting.
Mills. The shot is off. And Golden State will come the other way. Outside Curry. Three-pointer. Again, Curry missing. Well, we knew the West was going to be wild and very competitive all season long last year, and the Spurs, Clark, epitomized just how crazy and tough things can be there.
Yeah, and with about 3 weeks left in the season, the Spurs were sitting in the 7th playoff spot. Then they go on a tear and win 11 games in a row to jump to number 2. Finally lose one game, and they're all the way back to 6.
Now, here's Thompson. Gets it to go from beyond the arc.
What are you going to do defensively? Such separation with the height advantage in that matchup.
And Mills kicks it to West. Here's Lowe. He's got 6 to the paint. And the bucket counts. He's on his way to the free throw line. Try to make it a three-point play.
And that's why it's so important to really be a good screening team. You get a lot of open looks from it.
Catching up on the changes for Golden State. Andrew Bogut. He's checked in for Ezeli. Iguodala comes in for Brandon Rush. And Ian Clark subbed in for Curry. So San Antonio going with an almost entirely new group here. Tim Duncan, he's checked in for West. Aldridge comes in for Anderson. Daniel Green, he's checked in for Manu Ginobili. And Parker subbed in for Patty Mills. And for Andre Iguodala, last year was a first in 758 games. Up until then, he had not once ever come off the bench.
Yeah, he had been a starter throughout his 10-year career, every single game, Kevin. And last year he came off the bench in every game. Big adjustment for the veteran, but he made it well.
Golden State's gone 1 of 4 from three-point range in the second. Not a whole lot dropping out there for them. Now the dish to Thompson. From the arc. Rebound San Antonio. And in the second quarter, a little under 3.5 minutes played already. Parker kicks to Leonard. That drops, and it comes off an assist from Parker. Now it's a 4-point Spurs lead.
No doubt about the consistency when it comes to scoring the basketball for him tonight. A real nice lift for their offense.
And the whistle blows on the backcourt violation. He went over and back. And the Warriors with some changes. Draymond Green comes in for Harrison Barnes. And it's Livingston in for Klay Thompson. Martin's checked in for San Antonio. So it's San Antonio now. They've only given up 6 here in this quarter. And Duncan throws it down.
Taking it to the rack with power right there.
And hammering down with the two-handed slam.
Just piling on the lead with a dunk like that.
Here is Livingston. He hasn't yet put up any points in this one. And it's Bogut atop the key. He kicks it to Clark. The pass to Iguodala from the wing. And he hits the jump shot. 1:43 left in the first half of the game. It's Parker with the drive. Wasted no time on that shot, but it's off the mark. Warriors trail by 4. A one near Iguodala as he lets it go. And there the Warriors now with another bucket. The Spurs have gone 6 of 11 from the floor. Over 50% shooting here in the second quarter.
And really, the Warriors had an amazing regular season last year. Just from a historical standpoint, it was one of the best ever.
Here's Iguodala following the score by Kevin Martin. Iguodala dishes to Green. And the 3 off target. Spurs leading by 4. Martin the pass to Parker. Duncan with the screen for Parker. And here's Green outside. And it's Iguodala with the rebound. And for the Warriors last year, they would end the season with 67 wins. That number, Clark, tying for the 6th best win total in NBA history.
And my guess is only a few people saw it coming. I mean, and as the season wore on, it became more and more apparent that the Warriors were for real, but it took a while for people to accept that fact.
Now Duncan, after the missed 3 from Iguodala. Duncan kicks to Parker. Martin the screen to the middle. The Warriors pull it in.
Well, one of his issues is he's a player that just does not excel at fighting through contact on his way to the rim.
Parker kicks to Aldridge. Back to Parker. Fires from deep. No good on the buzzer beater. And the first half comes to a conclusion in a game that has been very close so far. Spurs out in front. They're up by 4. And time now to go courtside as we send you over to Doris Burke from the sideline. Doris?
Yes, Kevin, here with Stephen Curry. And Steph, you've had to deal with a lot of defensive pressure. What do you need to do to counteract that?
I just got to slow down. I mean, we're playing good defense, trying to trap the ball screens and take on the 3-point line. But, you know, just got to be aggressive, keep getting shots up, making the right plays, and they'll turn around.
Steph, thank you so much. Kevin, it's not easy in the NBA.
Thanks so much, Doris, and we'll step away briefly, but get you right back in there for the start of the third quarter after this break.
It's the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
I would call that a competitive first half of action. Ernie Johnson here welcoming you back to the 2K Sports Halftime Show with Shaquille O'Neal and Kenny the Jet Smith. Kawhi Leonard is having one of those nights. He had 12 points, 5 rebounds, and 1 assist. Kenny, what was your take on San Antonio?
Well, they forced their way to some easy buckets, aggressively going to the rack, imposing their will. I mean, taking it inside establishes an attitude and toughness that you can't get any other way.
Shaq, what are your thoughts on Golden State?
Well, if you can't shoot the ball, you might want to stop chucking it up. They keep trying the 3, but it's not going down. They're relying too much on the 3 ball, way too much. It's good when it's falling for you, but when it's not, you have to try something else.
And that'll do it for now as we send you back to Kevin Harlan for the start of the second half.
Well, both sides have assessed what they need to do over the break in halftime. We'll see now if one can pull out a way here in the third.
Leonard has been playing really well. He has 12 points and also an assist. Seems like he's making everything he looks at.
Automatic, guys. It's just totally automatic.
Warriors trail by 4. On the floor for San Antonio, Parker and Green are the guard pairing. Duncan out there with LaMarcus Aldridge. And it's Leonard in at the small forward position. Now here is Bogut. Still getting warmed up offensively. No buckets yet in the game for him.
You know, one of the unsung things about Danny Green is his team defense. I mean, he flies around that end of the court, and his instincts usually put him in the right position to make a play.
That's good.
Assist from Tony Parker.
And here are the Warriors now. Now here's Curry. 6 points for him. That's good. Curry's got 8 points.
Wow, got that one off right in the face of the big fella. Nice quick fire release.
Yeah, and the mid-range shot really the only option in that situation. Sometimes when you're facing a bigger guy, you can't get it all the way to the rim.
Here's Parker. Following the basket by Stephen Curry. Parker kicks to Leonard. 6 on the shot clock. And a kind roll that time off the rim as that one falls. Leonard's got the lead back up to 6 now for San Antonio. Curry with him. He's picked up by Parker. And it's Stephen Curry with a 3. He's got 11.
Defender there. In the neighborhood, but not quite close enough. Good shot.
Early on last year, it was clear Steph Curry was just on another level. Was an MVP candidate right from the start of the season, and he would eventually be voted that award.
And I thought very deserving. You could see how he elevated his play, and so many of us, and so much talk focuses on what he does offensively. But he was ahead of the snake of a terrific defensive group for Golden State a season ago, and that's one reason why he ended up being the MVP.
San Antonio calls timeout.
And with Curry winning his first NBA MVP award, he played the fewest minutes by an MVP in league history, mostly because his team was up by so much he got to sit a number of fourth quarters.
Spates checked in for Andrew Bogut. Spurs leading by 3.
And with Curry and the MVP, there was some pressure with Harden. Relatively close voting, but Curry was the clear winner. Hard to argue with the season he had, leading his team to 67 wins last year. Really, the right play defensively. If you can't block, force him to the line.
Yeah, exactly. Prevent the layup Give them a little bump, and then maybe they'll think twice about coming into the lane next time. And if they don't think about it, at least they might be distracted by your presence.
And guys, Tim Duncan still dominant after 18 years. You know, he's reshaped his body. He has gotten a brand new diet, which he says has had a huge benefit. We saw it in the playoffs last year. Greg, I think, you know, he probably was one of the top 5 overall performers in last year's playoffs.
No doubt about it. We continue to write this guy off, Kevin, and he just continues to defy Father Time. I mean, there was a point where he was starting to feel the wear and tear, especially in his knees, but being the competitor he is, he decided to dictate to his body rather than letting his body dictate to him.
Barnes can't get it to go. The Spurs have gone 2 of 3 from the field to start the second half. And Mills kicks to Aldridge. On the wing, Green. San Antonio again missing.
You know, getting back to Duncan, when you talk to his teammates, they'll tell you he's disciplined. He maintains a strict diet, does off-the-floor training, from boxing to swimming, throwing tires, running in the sand. That keeps him motivated and engaged.
Some changes here for the Spurs. David West, he's checked in for Duncan. Diaw comes in for LaMarcus Aldridge. And it's Ginobili in for Daniel Green. Ginobili against Barnes. West a screen on Barnes. Diaw, the screen. Here's West, and it's sent back by Spates. At the elbow, it's Thompson. Got a hand on it. And a fast break now for the Spurs. Mills has got the ball. And Leonard gets it to go.
Wow, the floor just really opened up for him on that possession.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for good offense, but that was just a terrible reaction from the defense.
And talking about Duncan's new look, Coach Popovich had an interesting quote. Pop said, I look at him and tell him, you look like Sprewell used to look. Just skin and bones, ligaments and tendons. But you know what? You can't argue with success, and not many people have had more than Tim Duncan.
And here is Diaw after the three-pointer from Stephen Curry. Leonard kicks to Diaw. Cannot hit. Curry with the defensive effort. Warriors trail by 4. A shot by Thompson. No one's around. Barnes makes it off the glass. Barnes has got 7 points.
Boy, the D has to show a little more fight on the interior than they did on that trip. They've got a battle inside.
This game has been a battle, and maybe they're starting to just run out of gas a little bit. And, you know, that's an example of how many plays we have in a game for which there's no stat. Pick play.
Greg, you're right. It really did work to perfection. Gave him all the room.
I mean, can't be afraid to put a shoulder into somebody every
checked in for Maurice Spates. And San Antonio with the change here, too. Kevin Martin is checked in for Leonard. Curry outside. Curry's got 11 points here in just the second half.
Man, they came out smoking here from beyond.
And Greg, as hot as they are from out there, absolutely no reason at all not to just keep letting them fly.
For a while, the Spurs were viewed as a slow-it-down team from their championships almost a decade ago. That isn't the case at all anymore.
You know, I think it took the viewing public quite a while to catch on, though, Kevin, because now most people look at the Spurs as one of the more exciting brands of basketball in our league. Just watching one game of them, and now you know that is the case.
Some changes for Golden State. Leandro Barbosa, he's checked in for Thompson. And it's Livingston in for Steph Curry. Kyle Anderson, he's checked in for the Spurs. Here's West. It's Martin on the wing. It's rebounded by Livingston.
You know, for the Spurs playing up tempo, I mean, they made that adjustment several years back, to their credit. Since then, they've been one of the more up-tempo and offensive-minded teams in the league.
Now, here is Barbosa. He hasn't scored yet. That, I'm sure, will change. Livingston, no luck. San Antonio trailing here. Mills dishes to Martin. Fires from the wing. And it's Martin again missing.
And some stats to kind of back up the Spurs playing that up-tempo style. They led the league last year in distance traveled as a team. Their players would cover almost 18 miles per game played. That tells you there's tremendous ball movement, but more importantly, body movement.
But this game has a lot of character here in the third period.
Yeah, you know what, guys? I love seeing this type of action. A competitive, compelling matchup. A lot of lead changes here so far.
Yeah, 6 already. Intensity is the theme for this one.
And that one's good. Livingston's got his first 2 points.
Yeah, heads-up aggressive play right there. Saw the smaller man on him and took it straight to the basket.
Now here's Mills. He's guarded closely. Count that one.
You know, not necessarily what you're looking for, but still able to convert.
Here is Livingston. Shot from 12. No good. Mills. Can't get it to go. And we just finished the third quarter, and we got a tight ball game here. Spurs lead by 1. It's the NBA on 2K Sports from Oracle Arena in Oakland, California. And we're set to start the action up here in the fourth quarter. And if it's anything like the first 3, we should be in for a treat. San Antonio leading. Thompson and Iguodala on the perimeter. Maurice Spates out there with Bogut. And it's Curry in at the point guard position. So that's the group out there for Golden State. From deep. No good. Good D by Parker. The Spurs shooting here about 46% for the game. And good. Got the English that time as it falls. And the Spurs lead by 5.
Moving it around, 8 of their last 10 coming off assists.
And Greg, you know nothing makes a coach happier than selflessness on the basketball court. They've gotten a bunch of good looks and have been absolutely lethal from behind the three-point line.
Yeah, defensively, you have got to close out and contest. Even if it opens up some driving lanes, you can't give up those looks that often.
Now here's Parker after the miss from Stephen Curry. Outside, Green. No good. So Golden State will take it the other way. Open shot, Thompson. And a great assist by Curry as that one goes in. Curry's got 5 assists in the game. San Antonio calls timeout.
And Steph Curry, 6'3" and about 195. I mean, a slender frame. You look back to high school and college, and that was one of the question marks. Did he have the strength to succeed?
Doris Burke has some information for us. Doris?
Guys, thank you. I got a chance to hear what Greg Popovich was saying to his team. He told them the game is right there for the taking, fellas, but we've got to be first. First to loose balls, first to the rim. We have to give our all right here. Kevin, now's the time.
Yeah, how about the sharp steal and then run out? It looks like they're ready to put the hammer down.
Well, we've been waiting for one of these teams, Greg, to pull away. Maybe that'll be a springboard for them.
Could be. A dunk like that coming off a great defensive play has to build some momentum.
And speaking of Curry's slight build, he's worked up and bulked himself up. He's added some muscle. He even got up to 200 pounds, I think he said. But he didn't feel real good, Clark, at that weight.
Yeah, it's not about the weight, Kevin. It's about strength. You need it to fight through screens and attack the rim, and he's clearly put on the strength he needs to play at his highest level.
Golden State's gone 1 of 3 from outside the arc since we've reached the fourth quarter.
Excellent ball movement there, guys.
And that's keyed this run. Passing it with purpose. The D hasn't been able to keep up.
Now here's Parker. Feeds to Leonard. Shot to stop the run, and Thompson sends it back. From deep three-point range, San Antonio with the rebound. Green's got his 5th rebound right now in the game. Parker passes to Leonard. Good. Leonard's got 20.
and they'll be counting on even more points from him. That's essential if they're going to pull this game out.
Parker against Curry. There's the three. Green with the rebound.
The shooting numbers just aren't there yet in the quarter.
Here's Parker, and it's blocked by Curry. Lets it go from deep. They grab their own miss. Takes the three. And there's a foul. It's on Maurice Spates. That'll be his second foul of the game. Draymond Green, he's checked in for Golden State. Livingston comes in for Klay Thompson. And San Antonio also making a switch. Mills is checked in. And a little over 3.5 minutes in the books so far here in the fourth. There's the double team with Bogut. Tries to keep it alive. Out of bounds, Golden State takes possession.
Boy, did they ever make a mess out of that one. A terrible turnover.
And it's the Warriors' ball. Big stretch here going 10-2. Down low. Outside for Curry. And it's good, assisting on the play with Livingston. 23 points for Steph Curry.
What a final quarter these guys are having from downtown, just burying the threes in bunches.
And they might as well keep going back to the well. No reason not to. I mean, work that perimeter. It's going good for you. Work it until it stops.
Green with the block. And he recovers it.
He's tried to get it going, but the shots simply have not been there. Nothing seems to be falling.
Kicks it to Aldridge. Takes it off the glass.
That's a brain freeze right there from the entire defense. Now is not the time to lose your focus.
Outside Curry. 1:21 left in the fourth quarter. Passes it to Iguodala. Pocket four. Lets the three fly. Another miss by Curry.
He's going to play his way right onto the bench and out of the game if he continues to shoot it like he has so far in this quarter.
Here's Iguodala. And off the front iron, and in it goes. And the Warriors lead by 6.
And how does he get that one to go? No idea.
I don't have an idea either. A little heat check there, but yep, he's still cooking.
If you can't get the ball,
cooking with gas.
Another timeout. Use it if you need it.
54 seconds left to play here in the fourth. And Mills kicks to Aldridge. Money!
And guys, right now, the defense mentally not there. Can't afford too many of those in a close game like this.
Yeah, Jay, you're right. Almost a free run, don't you think? Clark to the hoop for him there.
Momentum can swing on plays like that, Kevin, especially when the finish has that much thunder on it.
Green dishes to Curry. Gets the jumper from the corner to fall. Curry's got the lead up to 6 now for the Warriors. San Antonio calls timeout. They're down by 6. We've got 33 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Guys, your thoughts?
You know what? And they're going to draw up something where they can get a quick shot and then maybe a foul.
That's got to be the game plan here. I mean, free throws are really their only hope. Point with the clock stopped.
Klay Thompson, he's checked in for the Warriors. And now we've got the intentional foul. 30 seconds left in the fourth quarter. And an intentional foul right there. So the first one drops, and that makes it a 7-point lead. So he goes 2 for 2 at the line, and it's an 8-point game. Time called here. The Spurs decide to talk it over. They trail by 8. 29 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Aldridge inside, guarded by Green. That's good.
I love how he used his height advantage on that shot.
And he had the nice soft touch with it, too.
And so they foul intentionally.
You have to foul, but I'm sure they would have liked to foul someone different.
Yeah, but Greg, they didn't really have another option. I mean, I thought they did a nice job getting it in his hands and making sure he was the guy who'd go to the line.
And so both free throws are good, and it's an 8-point game. We've got 22 seconds left here in the fourth quarter. Parker passes to Leonard. Here's Aldridge. It's in! Oh, and that cuts the lead to just 5. Pass to Spates. The dunk and the foul, a powerhouse move, and he's got a chance for one more at the line. Tim Duncan picks one up.
Excellent assist there. Just led him to the perfect spot.
At the line for the Warriors, Maurice.
Ginobili kicks to Diaw. Parker outside. The three-pointer off the mark.
And that's playing into the hands of the defense right there.
No way you can sneak that shot by him, Greg. I mean, he was all on top of that one. Man, he's got a tremendous ability to knock it down from deep. I mean, that's a big-time triple.
No doubt that's a difficult shot. You're talking 3 or 4 feet beyond the arc.